Buenos dias, everyone. Welcome to the new year. Welcome to 2026, the year of the horse. I wanted to hop on here today to share a practice with you all that I received during my meditation this morning. Um, this practice is specifically for anyone who has been dealing with any sort of negative thoughts or negative thought patterns, loops. Sometimes we constantly find ourselves in these cycles where we're doubting ourselves or where we're unsure of how something's going to happen. But ultimately, all is mind, all is mental, the first hermetic principle, right? And so this practice is going to allow us to transmute any of those negative thoughts or those limiting beliefs into that of optimism, into that of what we want the outcome to be. So this is manifestation at its finest. I'm going to play for you a quick voice memo that I sent to a friend this morning. And it kind of explains the entire practice, and then we'll go into some examples and how you can practically begin to use this in your day to day life. So let's listen. I got this practice that my guides told me to do, and I wanted to share it with you in case it brings any value to your day. But essentially, I have a lot of thoughts that were on my mind, like things that I knew were coming up, and I'm just like, oh, I wanted to go this way, but there was some doubt in the way that I was thinking about it, and it was more so from a pessimistic point of view. So what they had me do is they had me write down all the things that were on my mind in the way that I wanted it to turn out. So for example, I have to get this Airbnb for Bogota, and I'll be there for 20 nights. So I'm like, I want to be in a place that feels like a home and not like a stuffed hotel room, and I want to be in a cute, quiet neighborhood. I want to have a ton of natural lighting, and I want it to be like all of the things that I want it to be, right? And because I'm looking at the Airbnbs and the other ones, and I'm just like, something's not, my heart is not pulling me towards it, right? So I'm like, I know that there's the perfect one out there for me. There always is. So that's one thing. And then I wrote a few other things down that were on my mind, but I wrote them in a sense that was like, this is how it's gonna be, and it aligns with how I want it to be. So that exercise was really powerful. It almost felt like I was purging in a sense, and transmuting. So I was transmuting all these negative spiraling thoughts into positivity, and it's as you think it, so it is. So obviously we know the law of mentalism, the first hermetic principle, everything is all is mind. So me writing this instantly shifted me from this place of pessimism into a place of oh, okay, cool, that's what it is. That's what it's gonna be. There's So that is the voice memo that I sent to my friend. Apologies, I listened to things in double speed. I kind of trained my brain to do that. But essentially, what this practice does, it allows you to not only write down, I recommend writing this on actual pen to paper, and or pencil and pen and paper have a much more powerful effect in my opinion than typing it on your phone. That's really powerful too. So if you don't have pen and paper, that's fine, but if you do have access to good old fashioned pen and paper, I highly recommend that you pull that out and begin to write down all the things that are currently on your mind. But when you write them down, write them in a sense of this is how this is going to go, essentially. So, for example, if you're someone who's looking for a new job and you have a few interviews coming up and you're quite nervous about how that's going to go, I want you to write down this job is mine. I see myself going into the office if that's what you desire, or I see myself opening up my laptop from home, logging in for the day, and making X amount a month, a year in salary, whatever the case is. Write down all of the things that you want to see happen, whether it be with that specific job or whether it be with a job in general. Just put yourself in the position of mentally put yourself in the position of what you're going to experience, what your life is going to be like once you've obtained that job. So instead of being like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous about this interview, you can write on paper, wow, I can't believe this job is mine. I can't believe I have freedom and flexibility throughout my day while still obtaining a full six-figure salary. I don't know, whatever your goals are, whatever your dreams are, whatever you're most worried about, whether it's paying the bills next month, if you're concerned about how you're going to do that, I want you to write down on paper wow, I can't believe I received the perfect amount of money in order for me to pay my bills. You don't know how it's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen, but you have this belief, and then everything in your life begins to shift to conspire with you in order to make this happen. I received that message the other day as well. It's just kind of like when you decide, when you make a decision, because that's another thing, and I'll get into that. But when you make a decision on how you want something to go, the universe will conspire with you to make it happen because the universe gives you what you expect. And so if we get stuck in these negative thought patterns and these thought loops, and we don't allow ourselves to see what could be, what the possibilities are, if we don't dream, if we're not delusional, if, in the best sense, then we limit ourselves to what we can receive from the universe. So, this is my message to you to start being delusional, start being imaginative, start you know, tapping into that childlike wonder that we once had when we were children. I listened to a video the other day of a woman basically talking about how when we come into this world as children, we're so pure and we're so open and we're so, um, we create our reality as children and we do it effortlessly without even thinking about it. And if you were to go back to your child, like your child self, your younger years, and you look at your life now, you are essentially living in what your child self thought you would become. So I think we sometimes tend to forget that. And if you knew what you wanted to be as a child and you're not living that, then now it's time to get back on track, okay? It's like time to get back on the right path because as children, we knew what we came into this world to do. I remember being about 7 years old in my my aunt's house because my family, we all lived kind of like under one roof as my mom was transitioning to a new state. And I had this pretend whiteboard and I used to write my name on it and I've made up a name. But I was essentially a teacher, and I knew from a very young age that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to teach people. I didn't know what I was going to teach, I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just knew that when I played pretend, I was the teacher, and I would hand out grades and I would hand out assignments to my imaginary students. And now I'm here on YouTube and I'm teaching to the world. And so I would have never thought that this is how my life would have turned out. I also used to play doctor a lot. I used to play engineer a lot, and it's funny how all of those things have kind of made their way into my current reality. Like currently finishing my clinical nutrition program, and I love building things with my hands. And all of those things, they never left me. It just required me to remember what it is that I came here to do. And now I'm walking in that path and things feel so effortlessly. However, sometimes things do come up where I'm essentially like, okay, I'm doubting myself. I'm doubting whether or not I can do this thing or how this is going to turn out. And when I get into that, um, I tend to journal. As you guys can see, like my journal is full of my thoughts and me trying to externalize so that I can understand where things are coming from, but also use that as a form of transmutation. Okay, if I know that this is the root of this thought, then how can I move forward knowing this? Because awareness is everything, right? So once I become aware of what the root issue, the root cause is, I can now transform it and work through that instead of suppressing it further and further. And so I really, really love this practice. One more time, this practice consists of you taking everything that you're currently thinking about, all the thoughts that are bubbling and circling around in your mind, and then writing them down on paper in the way that you want the outcome to be. So instead of saying, I'm worried about paying my bills, or I'm worried about this job interview, or I'm worried about this new connection, whatever you're worried about, I want you to write it down. A really, really good example as well that just came to me as I'm speaking is the example of people wanting to travel the world or to move abroad. This is something that I have been able to do successfully. And mind you, there were a lot of thoughts that came up in the process of me trying to do this for the last 2 to 3 years. One is, how am I going to sustain myself? And the way that I saw it play out for myself was I just trusted and believed that I was going to be given all of the resources once I made that move. Mind you, I didn't do this blindly. I had some, I had things in place for me to make the move, but as I moved, things got even better. Things started to come into my reality that confirmed that this is what I was supposed to be doing. And so, because of that, I just kept believing, kept trusting, and the universe just kept providing for me. So, that's a great example that we can go off of like if you are someone who wants to move abroad and you're unsure how that's going to happen, then what you would do is you would write down like, wow, I can't believe I'm living in this new country, in this new city, and everything has worked out for me. I have, built my savings, or I have received a job that allows me to travel and to see the world. And then that takes care of that thought or that insecurity, that doubt that you have around making that move. So it becomes easier to move with confidence and to move along your path. And if that's something that's meant for you, you'll start to see the whole world will begin to open up for you, kind of like it did for me. So I am living proof that this exercise really truly works, especially as I'm expressing this out loud. I'm remembering the process and the journey of me making this move. And now I'm here in the beautiful coast of Colombia, and I will be off to my next country in a couple of weeks. So I say all that to say, if this resonated with you, definitely have a go at it and let me know how it works out for you in the comments down below. Thank you.